Superman, yep, that far. Hey you guys, welcome back. So today we're doing a little video, a compilation of sorts, of Tiffany Henyard, basically eating crow, sticking her foot in her mouth, contradicting herself, whatever you want to call it. We all know there are plenty of times she's done this, right? Because as a trustee, she'd often take this stance like she was all about the residents. But if you've been following this story long enough, you know once she became mayor, everything she stood for as a trustee went completely out the window. For those of you just catching up, Tiffany Henyard was the mayor of Dalton, Illinois, and the supervisor of Thornton Township. She eventually got booted from both spots because of a whole bunch of controversies and allegations around misappropriating government funds. Now, these are still just allegations. She hasn't been charged with anything yet. But I want to hear what y'all think. Do you feel like she's going to have to answer for some of these accusations eventually, or is she going to get off scot-free? So go ahead, drop a police emoji in the comments if you think she's headed to jail, and if you feel like she's going to be free as a bird, drop a bird emoji. Before we get started, if you're new here and you like what you hear, please hit that like button. And if you're returning, don't forget to smash that like too. All right, let's get into it. I want folks to know I'm talking about that. Historic decision day in Dalton with senior trustee Jason House and his Clean House 2025 team winning big in the Democratic primary for mayor. They vowed to work under this new administration to clean house, and soon we're going to see that happen. House's team declared victory shortly before 7:30. Transparency starts today. It's a community mandate. We're up for the challenge. I'm excited. I can't wait for the results tonight. I'm going to come in by a landslide, House said. And he did. Incumbent Tiffany Henyard only got 12% of the vote, while House blew her out with 87%. It was a landslide victory for Jason House, winning by more than 3,000 votes. Tiffany Henyard wasn't even on the ballot. You'll see the sign outside Dalton, Village Hall. Mayor Tiffany Henyard will soon come down. Voters made it clear. They wanted change. And that change came with Jason House winning Tuesday night with 95% of the vote. Soon, they're cleaning house. Attacking me, a woman who made history, earned her seat and won by 82%. That just shows the community wanted change. Tiffany did not win any of those races. That's a clear sign the voters were done with her. The community wanted change. I am history. And I always tell, you gotta do your homework. You can FOIA it, go check it out, get the ordinances yourself. WGN is actually suing the village of Dalton for refusing to follow open records laws and to release spending records. You can FOIA it, seriously, go check it out. Last year, WGN Investigates sent Dalton an open records request asking for copies of AY's credit card statements and also records about Mayor Henyard's pay and the cost of her taxpayer-funded vehicle. But Dalton declined to release those documents. After WGN Investigates appealed, Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office ordered Dalton to release the records by mid-March. But that deadline came and went. Because right now, guys, you've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray. I got elected by the people. I represent them out there, their voice, not yours. Because all this stuff, it was just a big old smear campaign, white a hate fest, that's it. They couldn't get me out the way because people always showed me love. I didn't like seeing the disruption and all this change. I wanted to go back to how things were because I always showed up and showed out for them, despite what the fake news was telling y'all. Because that's all it was, just rumors. Maybe this, maybe that. Come on, stop with all that. I've really been doing my job. Still doing my job. It's been an embarrassment and a stain on South Holland to keep seeing her acting crazy, in meetings and stuff like that. So I just want y'all to see me as strength. Be your beacon of light. I want to say I will forever be your mayor. I will forever be your supervisor. Now, WGN Investigates found out almost all the money a South suburban politician's cancer charity claims to have gotten in its first few months came straight from taxpayers. This is just another example of questionable spending by Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, who's also Thornton Township supervisor. Again, I created a foundation called Tiffany Henyard Cares. Anybody suffering from or battling cancer, please visit thcares.org to get help with wigs, chemo, rides, whatever you need. The Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation was created in fall 2022, heavily promoted by Henyard. The township board she created and oversees gave the foundation $10,000 just days after it was formed. A new filing with the Illinois Attorney General says the foundation only raised about $3,000 more after that. WGN investigates previously reported thousands more were charged to township credit cards during the charity's walk to Springfield. Henyard recently tried to distance herself from the foundation, claiming she had no involvement with the group's AT activities. What is the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation? You said it's not affiliated with you at all, correct? Well, someone made up a foundation and named it after me. I created Tiffany Henyard Cares. Anybody suffering or battling cancer, please go to thcares.org. They like the work I do in the community. Have you contacted them to tell them they can't use your name improperly? My lawyers are handling a lot of that stuff. I'm not the one on anything. Everybody else creates foundations. Why can't we create one for our own people, in our own backyard? When you exhaust those funds, you have another option to help ease some pain. That's all I can tell you right now. So you're saying there's a foundation that's not registered but has nothing to do with you? That's true. You're not aware of any work they've done or money raised? No. Something else she's really big on, something dear to her heart, is the Cancer Foundation. She says it helps everyone in the 17 municipalities with services. The foundation isn't registered, but she says it has nothing to do with her, and she's not aware of any work or money raised. The supervisor thinks that parties and bingo events, including a big bingo, are going to win people over. She said, "Man, everybody's coming down. Over 500 people show up to be part of this movement. People win air fryers, carrots, TVs, refrigerators, stoves, washers, dryers, you name it. But we have to stay focused on what's really happening. They're trying to hide all the money being stolen. I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I was appalled when this fake charity came out because I know how it feels when you're trying to find help while battling cancer. I felt it was the lowest thing she could do, to go against people fighting cancer." The Attorney General has ordered the foundation to stop soliciting money because it still hasn't filed taxes showing how the money was spent. I know what my family went through when my mom had cancer. They need to get that money back to the township. The foundation is supposed to help with chemo, radiation, medicine, wigs, prosthetics, breast forms, even housing assistance. I want to make sure the public knows this help is for people living in the 17 municipalities. You cannot live in Chicago to benefit from this foundation. It's strictly for those 17 communities. It's illegal, and that attorney sitting right next to her just let it happen. The Delgado Group knew it was illegal to give her private faith charity money. We want our money back. One person is getting away with doing crazy stuff to an entire community, and now the whole township. What she does during public comment, she just puts her head down, won't listen to anything, won't acknowledge a word, but we're not taking any intimidation from anybody. That's right. I've had Kamal Woods walk past me, say some slick stuff like, "The way you put it out there on the news, y'all dead wrong. Some of y'all over there recording, remember this. You're black. First thing you talk, never forget you're black. You should be ashamed. You're black. Don't hide from Harvey, right? Tell the truth. You don't know what it's like to get beat down every single day, 365 days a year. She's going to outwork you. She's going to outwork you. She's going to outwork you. You're going to keep chasing her, keep following the story. That's your job. Her job, taking care of the community. It all started right here in this room, 2021. The dream to revitalize Dalton started right here, in this room. Want the real story? Like she says, if you want the tea, get it from me, get it from her. Go to her if you're worth talking to. I see you. You looking dead at me. You're part of the problem. If you're going to tell the truth, tell the truth. It's not a guy. It's a lady. You're part of the problem. I'm talking to you. Baby, you scare me, but you're not going to intimidate me because I have a voice. This woman has destroyed Dalton. Let me tell you something. She can't be the best in Thornton Township and destroy a whole village at the same time. The same thing happening here is happening in Dalton. Now, they're not transparent. They don't want you to know. They got Robin Hood out front, cooking the books, lying to people, saying there's no deficit in Dalton. But as of May 30th this year, the village's general fund was in a net deficit position, meaning there's not enough money in the fund. It's not about no deficit or we don't have the money, because we do have the money. Here's a graphic showing where we started in April 2022 with a positive $5.6 million in the general fund, and where we are now, May 2024, a negative $365 million. No one has ever said, hey, this is where the deficit is. This is wrong. Over the last 3 fiscal years, monthly expenditures have risen nearly 30%. In 2022, the village spent about $1.9 million a month on average. Now, it's $2.5 million a month. That's all false. People can write narratives, stories about me all day long. But at the end of the day, what matters is what I'm doing, why I'm here on this earth. Everybody here haters. Jesus Christ, haters. These rising expenditures haven't come with any rise in revenue. Revenues have stayed about the same, just over 24 million, while expenses climbed from 23 million in 2022 to 30 million in 2024. I always go get the money, bring it back. In the history of any supervisor or mayor, I've brought back the most money for a city, village, or township. I was awarded that. $9.2 million for the township, $6.8 million for Dalton. Ultimately, in 2023 and 2024, expenditures outpaced revenue. In 2024 alone, expenses were over $5 million more than revenues. They call me the super mayor because I always put up and show out for you. I go get the money and bring it back. I'm gonna keep fighting this fight because this is a battle between good and evil, and right now, good is winning. No matter what people say, think, or write, before you judge, always know the facts. No weapon formed against me shall prosper, right? Hain said no one's gonna prosper. I keep trying to educate y'all. That's what you see me doing today, still educating. Neighbors, I love you. That's what I'm talking about in the back, and there's nothing you can do about it. Still trying to put y'all on game because remember, the game is sold, not told. I am a walking billboard for our community. If you've driven any expressway in the south suburbs recently, you've no doubt seen one of these giant billboards, featuring the name and face of a smiling local politician. But what you might not know is the money for these billboards is coming straight out of taxpayers' pockets. That's raising serious questions for Tiffany Henyard, Dalton's mayor and Thornton Township supervisor, who's already under fire for spending public money to promote herself. I am a walking billboard for our community, she says. Take a drive through the south suburbs, and you can't miss them. 4 giant billboards with Tiffany Henyard's name in huge letters, and her smiling face staring down at thousands of cars passing by on Interstate 57 and the Bishop Ford Expressway. What are they advertising? One says fresh produce. Another says senior services. This one just says, we offer general assistance. We showed the billboards to Bert Odelson, an election attorney with 50 years in Illinois politics. When I first saw it, I thought, what is she running for now? He says. He calls them straight-up campaign ads, a blatant attempt to promote herself politically. The township should not have paid for these, he adds. And if they did, and I'm sure they did, and that's a problem. Bills obtained by Fox 32 under open records laws show Thornton Township shelled out over $10,000 for the vinyl signs and more than $12,000 to Clear Channel outdoor advertising for a 1-month rental of the billboards. You bring it up again? So most definitely I'm in support of this, but again, I want to see those prices cut, a township official said. Whether we find another sponsor or shop it around to get the best price. You literally can't turn your head in Dalton or Thornton Township without seeing Henyard's picture or name. It's on government vehicles, buildings, even rugs in the township office. We found a Tiffany Henyard 2024 calendar featuring all the important dates, including her birthday. Trustee Tammy Brown says these banners were never approved by the village board. They don't make any sense, she said. It's fine to have a banner that says welcome to Dalton, but you don't need the mayor's face plastered all over Sibley Boulevard. The banners cost about $19,000. $19,000 for roughly 250 signs. That's a lot, Brown added. But the vendor says they haven't even been paid for yet, along with other items totaling over $85,000. You guys elected me to protect your money. That's what Tiffany does, Trustee Henyard says. Yes, Erica, I'm at a victory party for the 2 people who ran against Tiffany Henyard, both for mayor and Thornton supervisor. I now have the task of getting Dalton back on track. starting with pulling the village out of the red. We're going to make sure we do the smartest things with common sense. We're not wasting money on security details. We want to make sure there's no rogue spending going on. But Henyard and her allies have spent thousands on steak dinners, hotels, and what appeared to be first-class airfare. When a hate don't work, they start telling lies, Henyard said. That's what this board of trustees has done. Throwing out shots, throwing out accusations, and then expecting us to want to work with them? Yes, we want to work with you. If we didn't, we wouldn't have passed 98% of the budget you proposed. I do not handle anything related to credit cards, as you heard me say today at my board meeting. I do not handle that. Nobody told her to get on TV and lie like that. Blatant lies. Did you spend this on the credit cards? No, sir. Some of those charges are for you, though. No, sir. You didn't go to Las Vegas. Chicago. These are easily verifiable lies. That's unacceptable. What is that? No. Comedy. You don't know if you were in Las Vegas? Of course I do. Were you? It's not paid by them. I don't know where they got that from. That's unexcusable. And she's going to say everyone's lying, but the Attorney General is asking for credit card receipts. I guess the Attorney General was lying too? Did you fly first class to Las Vegas? Any other questions? So, this is where we're at in the village. Self-accountability is a joke. The mayor can blame everybody, but she's the one creating the deficit. She's the one not paying vendors. You hear them all get up here pointing fingers, but it's really on them. That's why I'm bringing it up. People need to wake up and pay attention. That's who's wasting your money. That's where the deficit comes from. The trustees wouldn't have passed $15,000 on the inauguration that she spent. So you say all these things, but you overspent the budget by $15,000 on the inauguration. That's the truth we're dealing with. We're at this point because the majority of them ran on her ticket, got their seats to follow the mayor's vision. We won't even mention the $1,500 or $2,000 spent on a security detail on the block where she lives. All that is reality. When we asked Henyard a few months ago about her use of tax dollars, she was hustled out of the room by armed security. And on Facebook, in videos posted by Henyard herself, we see her driven around, surrounded by Dalton officers. That got us wondering, why all the cops? We weren't opposed to her having a security detail, but we asked how long and how often these officers needed to be on the streets fighting crime. Instead, several officers are riding around protecting America. Dalton trustee Brittany Norwood says Henyard started assembling her detail shortly after being elected in 2021, handpicking Dalton police officers. The manpower was stressed, critical to the point of almost breaking. Former Dalton police chief Robert Collins spoke to us from Florida, where he took a new job after being fired by Mayor Henyard last year. Collins remains frustrated leading an undermanned, overworked police department. Using a Freedom of Information request, we obtained work records for 6 officers assigned to Henyard's security detail. We showed them to some Dalton trustees. This is a Freedom of Information request we did to see how much overtime these officers are making on her security detail. Oh wow, 162 hours? 162? Oh, that's nothing. What goes through your mind seeing those numbers? It's disappointing. It's frustrating. Officers are paid every 2 weeks, normally 80 hours. But on Henyard's detail, that balloons well over 100 hours. Wrong is wrong. It's time to hold people responsible. Officer Terry Young worked 303 hours in one 2-week period, a paycheck over $13,000. How do you work 303 hours in 2 weeks? That's impossible. Maybe he never sleeps? There'd be 2 or 3 officers, sometimes more during events. That's, for a town of just over 20,000 struggling economically, usually with just a few officers on duty per shift. Collins says Henyard's security detail was warranted after a police shooting sparked protests and threats in 2021. But the protests stopped. The detail kept going, growing in size and scope. Collins says Henyard frequently used officers as her personal valet, sending them to run errands and pickups. Now that I'm here, people have their own hidden agendas, he said. I thought you were a trustee for 8 years. You'd know what we're dealing with. We're looking at you the same way you did the same things. Was it wrong when you did it? The warrant list here is $1.3 million. Some the board saw, some they didn't, and half we don't even know what happened to. That's my problem. They put this in front of us and want to vote, but the bills were already paid. So what do you expect us to do? We've done this for 8 years as trustees. We'd present the budget at a meeting, line by line. Not like this. We're not against the budget, just asking for transparency. Go through every line item. Be transparent with taxpayer money. That's all. Who authorized this? It's like everyone's scared to say the name. If the mayor authorized it, say it. If Elizabeth authorized it, say it. If Janice authorized it, say it. Who did it? That's all I want to know. We'll look at expenses, make sure they're prudent, responsible. Many stayed out all night, leaving with big smiles saying it change is coming. Tonight's victory was a clear sign they were over Tiffany Henyard, and I want people to know, no matter what you say, I'll be in the history books forever. Dalton wasn't even known until she became mayor, and it wasn't for anything. Great. Amen. Clerk Key, I couldn't have said it better. All right, you guys, I'm heading out. Thanks to all my returning and new subscribers for helping the channel grow. Leaving comments really helps with the YouTube algorithm. I can't thank you enough. See you next time.